Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Oh, Scott, it is conference tournament time, full swing now. The conference tournaments, we get to start seeing some of the better teams play. I'm psyched. You ready?
I'm definitely ready. By the way, that one game I said that you keep an eye on, the SF Austin game, has a nice buzzer beater game winner for you.
I didn't see that. Is that how that? Oh, yeah, you hit the three-pointer, right?
I think it was a runner in the lane, but
Oh,
either
was it?
way,
Oh, I'm thinking of another game.
or it was like a putback. But either way, the
Yeah.
one game I was somewhat interested in that nobody would paid attention to, and Abilene won by a buzzer beater, so it turned out to be a good game.
Nicely done. Yep, it was a good game. Man, we've got wall-to-wall games, Scott. First game 11 a.m. Eastern time. Last game 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's what the 13 hours of basketball basically by the time that one ends up. Yeah, that's
And I can't wait for ESPN to be showing you reruns from yesterday's games instead of showing live games.
oh my God, don't even get me started on that. So
Have you noticed that too?
yeah, that's not good.
It's not fun.
So we've got some teams that aren't playing conference tournaments that are wrapping up their regular season. And Scott, I'm going to give you a tip here. Last 2 weeks of the season, teams that really is normally it's when the good teams shine. So don't be afraid to lay those numbers with the favorites. Is what I'm saying to you here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I already made my play of the day video, so spoiler alert, that kind of fits what you're talking about. So
yeah, you did. Hey, let's go to the Big 12, shall we? Take a look at the Baylor Bears and the OK State Cowboys. Cowboys, according to Ken Palm, a 4 seed right now, Scott. They could certainly play themselves onto the 3 line with a win here. What do you think?
I definitely think that they could. Having said that, I think it does speak volumes that Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma twice in a row. And Baylor has played 2 games since coming back and is favored by 11. I think that kind of speaks to all you need to know because Oklahoma State is the 17 seed, or the ranking, I should say, and Baylor is ranked 3rd, and Baylor is still laying 11. So I think everyone can agree that mostly just says that Oklahoma is not very good and that Baylor is in another stratosphere compared to Oklahoma State. You think that's a fair statement?
I don't know about being in another stratosphere, but I certainly think they're the better team. I like this Oklahoma State team, and as long as they've got
Cade
the
Cunningham.
kid, yeah, Cade Cunningham. I knew it was a double C. Yeah, Cade Cunningham. Is he going to be the number 1 pick, by the way, Scott?
I thought he was going to be from start to finish, so I got to say yes. You always have to wonder about maybe some prospect over in Europe or somebody maybe being a late bloomer to jump off the boards, but no, I think it's just going to be Cunningham.
Okay. Well, this is an Oklahoma State team. They're not nothing, as the kids say. They've won 5 straight, covered their last 4. Didn't cover against K-State of all things. Go Wildcats! But they, like I said, they did have a pair of 4-point wins over Oklahoma as underdogs each time. Had a nice solid win as an underdog over Texas Tech. So they've last 3 times, Scott, they were a dog. They won outright. So is that going to happen in this one? You get a pretty fair price. Of course, I don't have it up yet. You got a money line price on this one?
I see mostly plus 500, give or take.
Okay. I don't hate that. I got a hunch about this game. Scott, I think that game against West Virginia might have taken it out of Baylor just a little bit. I'm not sure they've got their legs back. Like you said, they played just 3 games after taking their COVID break for 3 weeks. It's been well documented, pretty much abysmal performance against Iowa State, a very abysmal performance against KU, and then a very nice win against West Virginia, but it took them every one of the 45 minutes to pull that out, especially to get to cover. So now they come back home just 2 days later and play Oklahoma State. Scott, I'm going to take the Cowboys into points right here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 11. I know it's very dangerous going into the teeth of this Baylor team. They are a very, very good team. We saw it in a win up there in West Virginia. But I like this Cunningham kid. I like what he's doing right now. He seems to be figuring it out. And unlike a lot of these players that are one and done kind of guys, he's not It doesn't look like he's got one foot out the door. It looks like he's in it to win it here as we're coming down the home stretch of the season. I think Baylor wins, but I think the Cowboys. I think they get the cover right here, my friend.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree. Oklahoma State, in my opinion.
Oh, we're just going to agree. We're just going to disagree, rather.
Yeah. Well, I disagree.
Okay.
So going through it is worth mentioning Oklahoma State does have some injury concerns. You have to look at Isaac. I got to make sure I pronounce
it right. Say it.
Lakikile?
No, like a lele.
Okay, close enough. Like ukulele?
No, sort of, yeah.
Sort of? Okay, cool. Anyway, he's the team's leading rebounder and assist per game guy, and he's questionable with a hand injury. I don't know if he's going to play. You mentioned how Baylor might be a little bit out of gas after playing West Virginia. I feel like Oklahoma State had the back-to-back games against his in-state rival in Oklahoma, won both. I would not be surprised to see a complete letdown spot here. I think that this team won the rivalry, won the, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, the fake trophy, the in-state rivalry trophy, whatever the hell. They ended up winning there.
The Bedlam Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. But either way.
It's actually a bowl. It's a Bedlam Bowl.
Either way, I just think Baylor's going to come out and smack this team. I already saw Baylor beat this team in Oklahoma State by about 15. I think even if Oklahoma State's best rebounder and best assist guy, who's the same guy, is not going to play, that definitely doesn't help. But at the end of the day, this team beat their arch rival twice, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out a little bit fat and happy. So I think Baylor comes out and just punches this team in the mouth.
Well, fat and happy is a bad thing now.
Well, I don't know. Agree to disagree.
Yeah. Well, we certainly disagree on this one. So give me the points. Give me them points. All you can eat, baby.
Would you also lean to the over?
Don't care.
Okay, fair enough.
What's it set at here?
149.
I think that's a pretty good number. Yeah, I mean Oklahoma State can play some defense, but they tend to struggle against the better offenses. I think they're going to have to. Yeah, I think they're going to have to score to keep up. I think Baylor puts up. I think they put up 80, 82 in this one. So yeah, I think Oklahoma State can get there. But yeah, that's would tend to trend over just a little bit. But I have much more confidence in the Cowboys than I do.
Well, we agree about the over.
All right, good. We can agree to agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on, sir. Taking a look. I guess we could talk about the battle for the big mitten, the mitten battle. Michigan State. There's a couple teams that really enjoy each other. Michigan minus 12, 140.5. Scott, we saw a team that was seemingly down and out after suffering a huge win come back strong tonight, and that's the Villanova Wildcats. We're going to see the same thing with Michigan as they shat the bed the other day, or is it not long enough? Do they need more time?
Well, that's kind of the thing that I was mentioning before with regard to the spread with the Baylor-Oklahoma State game. Baylor's laying 11 at home against the number 17 team in the country, and Michigan is number 2 against a Michigan State team that is arguably not in the tournament, and it's only laying one more point than Baylor.
Throw out the record, Scott.
Just saying, do you find that – I'm assuming you agree that's a lot of recency bias attached to it?
Yeah, it is, but there's a case to be made that – I mean, I don't know about the recency biases. You're talking about as far as Michigan's loss or as far as Michigan State's surge. I mean, I'd say there's a recency bias attached to the last 5 games that Michigan State's played. I
meant recency bias with regard to Baylor because the line is so huge, and yet Michigan's laying basically the same number against an unranked team.
Yeah. So you're saying that game against Illinois cost what, 2 points in the line, maybe?
I'm saying it could have. I'm just saying I find it really odd that both of those games have very similar lines. I just find that very fascinating to me.
It's a rivalry game, man. Rivalry game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is why it's even more surprising because usually rivalry games are close. But it's just a matter of, for this one, Michigan had a complete no-show. You know that Juwan Howard probably, yelled at his guys, tried to get them rallied up. Meanwhile, Michigan State has played better lately, beat Indiana. I don't think Indiana's any good. Lost to Well, I mean, it ended up beating Ohio State, but Ohio State's kind of fallen apart. You go
Oh,
through
they beat Illinois and Ohio State back to back. So
yeah,
that's
it was impressive. Ended up losing on the road against Maryland, which is worth mentioning because that's the only road game it's played in its last 4 games, and it
well,
lost.
that was a letdown spot too, of course. After
Yeah, it
those
was. And then
big
Maryland
wins.
lost to Northwestern yesterday, so I
Yeah.
don't really know how good Maryland actually is. But either way, truth is for this game, I like the under. If I really had to look at it, I know the total's at 140, about 140 and a half. Michigan's gone under in each of its last 3, 6 of its last 7. Michigan State's gone under in each of its last 3. You have a rivalry game where Michigan's offense has been good for the most part, usually putting up in the low 70s, but the offense kind of fell apart against Illinois. Defensively, though, I think that's where Juwan Howard's going to have most of his impact when it comes to a bounce back spot for Michigan, because this team defensively was fantastic. You go down the line, gave up 53 to Purdue, 59 to Wisconsin, 64 to Rutgers, gave up 87 to Ohio State. That was a crazy game. Gave up 57 to Iowa, which is one of the most impressive defensive performances of the season.
Yep.
Gave up 57 to Indiana, and then 76 to Illinois without its best player. I think Michigan buckles down defensively. I like the under.
All right. Well, I used that strategy to play the under in the Iowa game, and it paid off. I like this Michigan team. They've been very good to us, Scott. I still say they're one of the top 3, maybe top 2 teams in the country. I like them. I like them in a bounce back spot here to cover the number. You dance with the one that brung you. Just because you found your date making out in the bathroom with your best friend, you still got to dance with her, Scott. Then
that story sounded a little bit too personal, but I'll take your word for it.
Perhaps hitting a little close to home, huh? Senior prom, I miss you so. I like Michigan to get it done here. I think this is a Michigan State team that probably was better than they were in the beginning of the season. Probably isn't as good as they've been in the last 5 games.
It's a pretty interesting spot also because it's a rare back-to-back rivalry situation, which we ended up seeing with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Right.
The final 2 games of the regular season with a bubble team attached to it, that's kind of rare.
Yeah, I think Michigan takes care of business here.
You have any thoughts on the total?
Lean under. Yeah, I think Michigan does it by clamping down on defense. I see somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 55 75 75 60, something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see. I mean, the issue I have with Michigan State, if you've watched them play, this team can't really shoot. This team's shooting 32.7% from 3. And this is just not going to get it done. 42.6% from the floor, and you're facing off against one of the best defensive teams in the country.
And they play decent defense.
Yeah,
definitely. Even when they were struggling, they played acceptable defense. They're not awful. So,
but I'm just trying to say, I just think Michigan State, if they can't stretch the floor, which I know for a fact they can't, I think it's going to be a pretty difficult sledding for them to score over these 40 minutes.
Yep, agreed. Hey, speaking of Oklahoma, Scott, they're in action again. They're in a home game against Tejas. They are 2-point favorites. 142 is the number as they clash with the Longhorn there in the Red River Shootout Redux. Who you got in that one?
Well, Oklahoma's laying 2. The truth is, I don't know how Oklahoma's laying points against any ranked team. I know that it's going to be the final home game of the season. I know I'm a big fan of the senior night angle. Having said that, Oklahoma's lost 3 in a row, has failed to cover in each of the last 4. I don't want to take this team. Do you want to take this team?
How about a pair of non-covers at Iowa State and Kansas State? You like that?
No, and the straight-up loss to Kansas State doesn't help either.
No, that's not good at all. They
I'm not going to overreact to the Oklahoma State losses. They played at home, lost in overtime, played on the road, lost by 4. Oklahoma State's a good team. I'm not going to overreact to that.
Going to overreact to the K-State game?
That one's definitely a little bit concerning, but you could also argue about a look ahead. But either way, point is, Oklahoma State's a good team, and it's 0-2 against a good team recently. I think Texas is a pretty good team too. So for that reason, I got to take the points, or at least take the money line, because until Oklahoma wins the game, I'm going to treat them like Ohio State. I'm going to look at this team and go, I think that the market's giving you a little bit too much respect for what you did earlier in the season. And based on current form, I don't want to lay points with you. So if I had to pick, I would pick the Longhorns.
I don't love this Texas team either. For me, this is going to be
I don't, but they're playing better than Oklahoma.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean,
I like the over if I had to really give out a lean here.
yeah, I could see that. Although, yeah,
Totals at 142.5. The spread's -2. You should be looking at some late game free throws there.
yeah, this is a Oklahoma team that definitely gives up points to quality teams. Gave up 94-79 to Oklahoma State, gave up 90 to West Virginia.
I know Texas was missing some key pieces, but in the first meeting, still totaled 159 points.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't hate the over there. I take Texas on the money line, probably plus 107, something like that.
Give or take.
Yeah, I don't have it listed yet,
I see
obviously.
plus 115.
115.
Yeah.
I'll take that. All right. Yeah, I don't care about the 2 points. Give me the plus 115.
And I feel the same way, and I'll also look to the over.
Okay. What else has your attention? Anything?
Well, I have a play that Avid already made, so there was one game that definitely caught my attention. I know the late game. We were talking about the earlier games before we went on air. The late games, well, you got Eastern Kentucky. And I think you know what I like about Eastern Kentucky. I'm assuming we both agree that the over is kind of just staring you in the face.
Is it their nickname of the Colonels?
Well, it's either that or they're making chicken. So I'm going to have to go with the over because this team has been just cooking offensively. See what I did there? See what I did there?
I do have a premium play on that game.
Did you see what I did there? Cooking, Colonel with the chicken. See what I did there?
That was very nice. Oh yeah, I didn't. You know what? It slid right by me there, buddy.
Yeah,
I
have my moments.
I was looking for something because I've got a trend, I believe, in the
OVC.
What's that? Yeah. How about the first two rounds have gone over 70% of the time since 2012? You like that one?
In the OVC, or is that just
OVC tournament? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Okay. Yeah, it's tough to really go for and under when you're looking at Eastern Kentucky. This team through the season is 16-8 to the over, 12-3 when they're not at home to the over, and conference games 14-6 to the over. You look at the recent results, go through the overs: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the last 9 have gone over, and Austin Peay has also been a pretty good over team. 4 of the last 6 have gone over. I know you have seen some under money come in. It has gone from 155.5 to 155. It's mostly kind of stayed steady. I'm assuming we both agree this game should turn into a track meet, and with a spread of -2, once again, you're looking at some free throws late in games, potential overtime draw. I know you can't talk about it, but for me, I don't know what you took, so I don't know. But either way, the over is kind of staring me in the face. I simply just think Eastern Kentucky has done us so much right this season that I can't really turn my back on them now.
All right, very good. If you want to get my thoughts on that, it's it is one of my premium plays. So, looking at anything else here that I'm looking at any of my ones that almost made the cut.
There's one game that I am kind of interested in. I don't know if I'm fully going to take it, but it's going to be a pretty early game at 2 p.m. It's Liberty against Kennesaw State.
Liberty. Yes.
I got to side with Liberty Bibberty on that one at -17 because Liberty has been cruising throughout the conference. I've mentioned how much I've liked this team in recent years and how this team has always been underrated market-wide. 20-5 overall, 11-2 in conference. And can you guess who's the worst team in the conference?
I'm going to go with Kennesaw State.
You would be correct. And they played they played 2 times this season. Liberty got off to a slow start in the first game, won by 6. Not impressive. Played again the following day, won by 29. I think that's a pretty much what you're going to end up seeing. You look at the recent results for Liberty, beat North Florida at home by 20, beat North Alabama at home 74-54, played again, beat North Alabama 74-54, the exact same score in back-to-back games, which you really never see, and then played Bellarmine, who was the second best team in the conference, and won on the road by 16 points. This team has been killing people.
Yeah, they've covered double-digit spreads in 4 of their last 5. 2 against North Florida, 2 against North Alabama.
Now, it is a neutral, but I can't take Kennesaw. I mean, this team is awful. It won its last game. Senior night angle, beat Florida Gulf Coast as a huge underdog by 17 points. But I'm just saying, Liberty Teams won 9 in a row. This team smacked them in one of the meetings they played. I just don't see Liberty letting up here, especially in the conference tournament. I think this game gets pretty ugly.
Give me the over. I think Liberty puts up. I think Liberty puts up 80.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think we can count on Kennesaw State for 55 to 60. So
I'm looking at like 80 to 60, something like that. So I think Liberty covers.
Yep. All right.
Looking at anything else, I know the 1:00 game I mentioned to you before we went on air. I think St. Joe's in the money line has some value against UMass. I faded UMass in the last game against St. Louis, ended up getting killed. This team's played 2 games in about a month. And don't look now, but, St. Joe's got its best player back after struggling for the entire season. And the team's kind of caught fire lately. And you can find a money line right now at around in the plus 130, plus 140 range. St. Joe's, they might be 4-14 overall. But they are 3-0 in their last 3 games.
Wait, we're getting 3 points or 140 on the money line.
I see 3 points or around, I'd say, in the plus 130 range. Some of the short books, I'm not sure if Bovada is accurate or not, but I see one of the databases is telling me that it's around 140. I see 136 on FanDuel.
That seems strong.
So I guess it was pretty accurate. But at plus 136, I'm getting a team on a 3-game winning streak against a team that only played 2 games in the last month and lost both those games by double digits. I got to look to St. Joe's there.
Well, of course, they played a couple better teams than St. Joe and Richmond and St. Louis, but
correct.
St. Joe's, yeah, they've got a nice little run going there.
Yesterday, so fatigue might be a little bit of a factor there, but
right. This
isn't even updated. It actually has won 4 in a row, so pretty solid performance there. I think UMass is a team that has barely played all season long. Teams play 13 games total, which tells you about the schedule. And I mean, 2 games in a month kind of speaks for itself, don't you think?
Yeah, I'll take the. I'll take the Hawks in the point. You give me 130 or the 136 there. I'll take the Hawks money line.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Okay, very good indeed. All right, so moving on to the NBA side, Scott, we've got last NBA day before the All-Star break, and we've got 1 game on TV, buddy. 1 game on TV. And, of course, that is going to be the Miami Heat as they travel to a place with a lot of heat, the New Orleans, take on the Pelicans there in the Big Easy.
I don't think I could have called the Pelicans game yesterday any better than I did on the air. So wouldn't it be the ultimate Pelicans performance if they beat Utah at home just to lose to Chicago at home? And what they do, they lost Chicago at home.
Yep.
And the game flew over.
But, the play that we really liked there was the over in that game.
Yeah, the over was easy. That was never in doubt.
Bulls offense isn't getting enough credit, buddy.
Yep. And Levine dropped, 30 plus again.
So I don't care about the spread here. This is a psycho Pelicans team. I don't want to get involved.
I don't know if Jimmy Butler's going to play either, so that doesn't really help.
I'll take the over. What do you think we're going to have that? What do you think that over is going to be?
What do I think the over is going to be? Truth is, I really don't know because once again, it really depends if Butler plays or not. Because Butler is the kind of guy who can drop 30 at the drop of a hat. So I'm not even going to try to guess what the total is. I got to assume since it's the Pelicans, it has to be somewhere in the 220s.
220, yeah, I would.
It sounds low, but Miami's been a pretty low-scoring team lately. So I think somewhere, if I had to guess, 224.
And you do. Huh?
I'd say 224 if I had to guess.
I think it's going to be higher.
I made it up. There's really no basis to that at all, but if I had to guess, that's where I'd probably put it.
I think we're going to be closer to low 230s. I think we're going to be 231, 232.
Definitely possible.
I'm just looking at the numbers for I mean they were 230 at home against Boston.
Yep.
And I think Miami's got a better offense than Boston.
I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying that you look at Miami's last 2 games and the team has not scored more than 109 points. So
no, they've had 2 really bad performances against Atlanta. They won that first one against Atlanta, but
yeah,
you're right. And then an all-time bad performance on Tuesday night as they put up 80 points against the Hawks. But that's just the kind of situation where they come roaring back.
I am kind of intrigued a little bit by Miami because according to FanDuel, Miami's getting 3.5. And once again, the money line's at plus 136. New
Yeah.
Orleans played yesterday in a very intense game that was up tempo. I know New Orleans is a psycho team, but you got to assume Miami will have some type of bounce back here after a terrible showing against Atlanta.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with that.
So, I mean, you're looking at a money line on a team that defensively, I don't want to say can match up with Zion because I think Zion's kind of unguardable, but you put out a bio in the middle that definitely helps. And New Orleans can't really guard the three-point line. So I think Miami should do pretty well. I like Miami team total over. If I really had to look at one way to do it, I know Miami's offense has struggled,
Yeah.
but I got to fade this New Orleans defense.
11 of the last 12 gone over, Scott. I'm not getting off the train.
Yeah, and I said team total over because I do think that New Orleans on tired legs maybe struggles in the second half, but Miami rested, should be motivated. I think Miami probably scores 120.
Well, if the Miami team total goes over, this game's going over.
Yeah, probably.
I give you 5-2 that they both go over if Miami goes over. You want any part of that?
Wait, you're saying that Miami goes over the team total the full game, or talking about New Orleans also goes over?
Talk about if Miami goes over, this game goes over.
Well, I agree.
I'll give you 5-2 against that not happening.
We can talk about it after we get off the show. But,
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sorry.
Either way, I think Miami does well here, so I like the Heat.
Okay.
You think Butler plays?
Be awful tempting to get him an extra day of rest there. Of course, you got the All-Star break coming up.
I think he's going to play.
Yeah, I think it's a spot where you almost need him to play.
Mm-hmm.
Just depending on how hurt he is. I don't know. And this Miami team has done very well until they crap the bed there against Atlanta. They'd won 6 straight, so won in coverage 6 straight. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They'll probably beat them 110-90.
You have any other games that jump off the? I know you're not much of an NBA guy because the injury reports and whatever, but do you have anything that you like?
Well, that's a shitty thing. I mean, we all
honest,
work.
Man.
What's that?
Just being honest, man. You like anything on the card?
I don't know. Can we count on the Bucks to be as bad as we think?
It's definitely an if.
I'll tell you what got my attention again. You got to guard against recency bias because they were so good last time out. Is Denver against the Pacers?
That one also jumped to me, especially with the Pacers playing yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with the Pacers, and they're playing a back-to-back.
Denver's -3.5.
Oh, I got 4.5 on Bet Online. You got a place for 3.5. Yeah,
FanDuel is 3.5.
Lock that up. I don't need to sell your house like you did with betting the Nets yesterday, but.
Yeah, I have 2 houses now.
Hopefully everybody that listens to us has 2 houses, so you're welcome. I expect to come over for a party for at least one of those houses for you guys. So,
well, looking at that, I definitely agree with Denver. You have a couple of late games. I like Phoenix -5.5 against Golden State. Golden State, once again, back-to-back. Tough loss against Portland, but Phoenix.
Yeah,
got something brewing.
All the talk's been about Utah. Meanwhile, Phoenix has 2 tough losses. They could have won 17 of 18. So
I took Phoenix to win the division yesterday at +850.
Yeah, I think that's a great play.
They're in first place right now.
Yeah, I know.
Can't really say no. And then you have the late game. You have Portland -4.5 against the Kings. Kings won yesterday by 3 with no AD or LeBron. So congratulations, I guess. You managed to win a game. I don't know how it was only 3 points, back-to-back with the Lakers missing their best 2 players. But Portland is just the better team. Sacramento stinks. I mean, I know they won yesterday, but do I really need to go any further? We both know Luke Walton's terrible.
You like Luke Walton, Scott?
I kind of do because I bet against them all the time. It works pretty well. But they're on pace to have the worst defense in the history of the sport. They gave up 120 points to a team led by Dennis Schroeder and Kyle Kuzma. 120 points.
How about Boston throwing 7.5 to Toronto without Van Fleet and Siakam?
Do they even have a coach? Toronto? Does Toronto even have a coach for this game?
Or is their coach quarantined too?
I thought Nurse was also quarantined. I thought he wasn't there yesterday.
I'm just looking at the injury list, buddy.
I'm pretty sure Nurse wasn't there either, but they lost to Detroit yesterday, so I kind of have to like Boston in that spot. But
yeah, I generally I generally don't think Boston's 7.5 points better than very many teams in the NBA.
They gave up 120 plus points to Detroit.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good at all.
So they're going to be playing a back to back as well.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
But kind of just looking at some games, Suns kind of jump off the page for me a little bit. Portland as well, especially since Portland played at home against Golden State, no travel involved. Sacramento has to travel following a game that came down to the wire. So that's not exactly a great spot for Sacramento. Plus, you have Halliburton injured. You have a couple of some people banged up there. But yeah, and the Nuggets. Right?
Yep. Exactly.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, this is like I said, a Phoenix team that absolutely gave away the game to Charlotte, and they gave away the game to the Nets, or they would have otherwise they'd be on a 16-1 run right now.
Chris Paul effect, man. Everywhere he goes.
You know what else I like about this Phoenix team? You know what they do when they win, Scott?
They're not partying because they're in the desert.
They cover.
Oh, okay.
Cover.
They cover. That's what I meant. That's what
They
I meant.
don't.
Yeah, okay.
Out of their stretcher that they've had, they have not had a win without covering the number, and they have been a dog. All but two of those games. Or excuse me, they've been the favorite. They've all but three of those games. Three of those games they've been a dog. To Dallas twice and Milwaukee. Otherwise, they've been a favorite, and they've covered every one of those. So
very good basketball team. Really
yes,
around it.
Yes, they are. We talked about them on our show. We talked about this Phoenix team.
I mentioned them like first week of the season. I didn't think they'd played this slowly. I just remember them from the bubble, and I'm like, oh, like Chris Paul. This team's actually probably gonna make the playoffs. Then you watch them play. They had a COVID issue earlier in the year. They kind of struggled right off of that. This team really just plays some tremendous team defense, which is very rare in today's NBA.
What is that? Yeah, they them and the Knicks, man. They went undefeated in the bubble, then brought in Chris Paul, and it took them a minute to get going, like you said. But yeah, this team has been very good. I like your division play there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's mostly available at 5-1. I found an 8.5 to 1. I know some people grabbed like 17 to 1 last week.
Yeah, I know. I was hearing the stories that it was high teens last week.
Not surprised because all the media covers on the two LA teams, but once again,
and Utah. In Utah, we heard a lot about Utah.
I meant for the sake of the Pacific Division.
Oh, in that division, yeah.
Everyone talks about the Lakers and Clippers, but once again, you have the Lakers who AD's going to be out for another 4 weeks, and LeBron rested for one, so he might even rest more in the future. He's a little bit banged up. The Clippers have been resting Kawhi and Paul George. They've been alternating for the last, 2 years? Do either of those teams actually care about winning the division? You know, Phoenix does because Phoenix hasn't made the playoffs since 2010.
Right. Yeah.
I just think a motivational angle there is for Phoenix is this team knows that I don't want to say that they don't have a shot to win the title, but I'm sure they're willing to accept some consolation prizes along the way, and I don't think the Lakers or Clippers are willing to do that.
Well, you know what? You pick up the because it's possible they win that division. They could be the one side, the one seed. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they're just 2 back of Utah.
It's possible. I know Utah's lost a couple. I still think Utah is going to end up being the 1 seed because their division is significantly easier than the Lakers division.
True.
So I think that Phoenix might hit a stretch where if the Lakers and Clippers get to full strength by the end of the year, you might see that team maybe hit a little bit of a slump or at least, fall off a little bit. But at the end of the day, the Lakers and the Clippers are both injured, and you're getting a team that's at 5-1 or like 9-1. Sure, and the team's in first place.
Yeah.
I'll take the Suns.
How do you not take it? All right, very good. Well, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for the NBA for a while. So get ready for some college basketball, everybody.
Can't wait for a 3-point shootout special video that we're going to be making over the weekend.
Yes, that does sound like something you should be doing. All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. So
play the over in the All-Star game. That's what I'm saying to you.
Over 3,000.
What was it? It was like 330 last year or something ridiculous.
Something like that. It gets more entertaining with the Elam now, but that's another thing. Look for like a first half, and then wait till that happens. Then live bet the under. The over is going to be the over under is going to be 430.
Yeah, something like that.
Halftime, and then it's going to go under.
Yep, that's it. All right, guys. Of course, if you're looking for information on any more of these games or any other games, don't forget to stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com. Deep dives into every game every single day. Winners and Whiners always there, always free. So that's That's going to do it for this. We love doing this, and we'll be back to do the NBA starting again on Monday. But until then, we'll have a full slate of college action. So stay tuned, everybody. Good luck on all of your plays today. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back of the window. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye.